Hello, everybody. My name is Nicole Lewis. I work for a charity called Agapé UK, and my good friend Katie, I'm about to introduce her um, and today's theme. But I have the privilege of getting to be involved with Ekklesia along with Mark and Andy, which has been a real joy and pleasure. I think one of the things that we love about Ekklesia is that we want to spark conversations, but we also want to keep conversations going. So throughout the year, we have these roundtables, and the roundtable is a place where we can continue the conversation, where we want to continue to help you as local church leaders or as organizational leaders be equipped. We want to share resources that we find with you that we think could be really helpful in helping you really continue to walk into what God has called you to uniquely as communities around the UK. So this call this morning slash almost afternoon is one of those themes that we thought you would be really encouraged by, but actually a really useful resource that we thought could really help kind of advance the mission forward in our context. So Katie is going to share more, but today we're going to be talking about a resource called Next Steps. It is we'll say, digital spiritual journey that you can help people go through to know Jesus. The great thing about it is it's free, but also it's really easy to adapt. You can make it kind of do what you would like it to do that would be most helpful for you. So there are templates that you can use, but then you can change those templates to be able to suit whatever particular, I don't know, outreach event you're doing, or if you're just wanting to train people within your church how to use it. There's a lot of different ways that you can use it, and it's also incredibly easy to use. So today, what we wanted to do at this Ekklesia Roundtable is just present to you this great tool that we think you could really use in a variety of ways, and we hope that it'll be really helpful to you. And to do that, I'm going to introduce you to my great colleague, Katie Thurston. Katie leads our digital strategies team within Agapé UK. She lives in the great city of Birmingham. I'm sure she'll tell you a little bit more about that, but I'm going to hand it over to Katie for the rest of the talk. But thank you so much, Katie, for being willing to be on this call today and for hosting our Ekklesia Roundtable. It's great to have you with us, and I look forward to learning a lot.
Thank you so much for that lovely introduction, Nicole. Welcome to everyone. I'm really glad to be with you this morning. I love the work that Ekklesia is doing, and yeah, just excited to get to share about this tool with you. Like Nicole said, I'm Katie Thurston. I lead our digital strategies team at Agapé UK. Lots of you on this call are probably familiar with Agapé already, but if you're not, like Nicole said, we're a Christian charity focused on evangelism and discipleship. Our motto is discovering Jesus together. The big thing that we want to do as an organization is to help inspire people to discover Jesus, grow in faith, and go and share their faith. Um, Anywhere you find Agape around the world, we're called by many different names in many different places, including the Jesus Film Project, who's our media arm that helped develop this tool. Anywhere you find us, we are trying to walk with Jesus and take the initiative to share the gospel to help bring people into the kingdom, give people an experience of walking with Jesus, help them grow in their faith, and go and do the same for others. Um, and yeah, like Nicole said, that this Next Steps tool is a great one that fits right in the middle of what we want to be about as Agape, taking the initiative and the power of the Holy Spirit to go to people with the gospel and help them make that connection to Jesus as smoothly as possible. So I'm excited to get to talk more with you about that. Just wanted to give you just a brief little picture. Agape UK's digital strategy sits in a big family of people around the world with Agape or Crew, depending on where you find us. The thing that we're about is making Jesus and his mission accessible to anyone, anywhere, anytime they want to be a part of it. And this tool is something that we're using to help with that. I thought I would give you a little headline of where we're headed today. Appreciate you giving some of your time to come and join us on this round table. So we're going to do some basic overview with Next Steps Journey Builder. We're going to do a what, a why, and a how. I know you're always supposed to start with the why, but I feel like Next Steps is a thing that needs a little bit of like, what is it first? So I thought I would start with that for anyone who hasn't heard much about it, is new to the tool completely. You have come to the right place. So Next Steps is a web-based digital platform. I like to call it a micro website builder or a journey builder that helps ministries and individuals connect with people online to give everyone a next step to discover and follow Jesus. And like Nicole mentioned, it allows you to create customized online experiences. We call those journeys that guide people towards gospel conversation and deeper connections. I'll walk with you a little bit later in the webinar through some examples so you can see how we're using it in the UK and around the world. And we'll get into a bit of the ins and outs of how it works and how you can use Next Steps in your ministry too. But first, I wanted to give you two pictures to hold on to. I say Next Steps is a welcome mat and it's a connecting piece. Um, I don't know what your churches are like, but I find in my church in Birmingham, we have great things going on inside the doors of our church. And there's great things happening in people's homes where our community groups meet, and anywhere you find our church. But we often find that people still just need that little bit of extra welcome mat rolled out for them. Just a little bit of context of what church is or who Jesus is. And we find that Next Steps is one way in the digital space that we can roll out a welcome mat for people. We can roll out welcome mats for different audiences using Next Steps, which I think is really great. Um, and I also wanted to give you this image. This is the connecting piece. This is not an actual picture from my home, but it just about could be. My husband and I have lived in a few different places, and we have several places in our home where we have three different kinds of connectors going from a US plug to a European plug to a UK plug. Um, and I just wanted to bring that as an image. I feel like this is a great representation that there's a power source, but if you can't connect to it, it doesn't matter how good the thing is that's coming out of the wall. You need to have a piece that fits for you that helps you connect to that power source. Um, and that's an image that I like to hold in my head. Next Steps isn't a full strategy that you can implement wholesale in your church. It's a connecting piece that can help people get from where they already are in the spaces they already are to connect with you personally, people in your church, and the activities that you guys are already doing that are so wonderful that help introduce people to Jesus. Um, I'm sure most of the people on this call don't need to have me go deep into the why of why we want to get the gospel to people. But I brought two little pictures for you. Um, a Bible one and a Talking Jesus one. I'm sure you guys are very familiar with the Talking Jesus report. Um, one of the things that has been a driving picture for me in ministry is the story from Mark chapter 10, when Jesus is walking through a crowd of people and Bartimaeus calls out to him, "Son of David, have mercy on me." He sees Jesus coming. He knows that he needs something, but he can't get through the crowd. He doesn't know how to get to where Jesus is. Um, and I love that picture. There's a little bit of my interpretation in here because it doesn't give us a lot of detail in the story. But I love that Jesus, in this specific instance, doesn't stop and interact with Bartimaeus first on his own. He's already gone past. Bartimaeus is calling out to him, and he says to the disciples, "You go and call him." And the disciples go, I imagine they kind of press through the crowd. They go over to him and they say to Bartimaeus, "Take heart, get up, he's calling you." I love that image that as disciples, we get to go to people and tell them that Jesus is ready and waiting for them. This is a tool that can help us do that. And there's lots of others as well. Um, and one statistic that encourages me, I'm sure everyone on this call has heard this statistic from the Talking Jesus report, um, but I find it really relevant in this case. They said, according to their numbers, 1 in 3 people, after they had a conversation about Jesus with a Christian friend, wanted to know more about faith. Um, I think that's an amazing statistic that if I ask 3 people if they want to hear more about Jesus, have a conversation that 1 in 3 will want to know more. But I don't know about you, I often find getting over the hurdle to even find out who is interested in having those conversations can be hard. I think in the era of quiet revival or whatever you want to call it, there's loads of people in our communities. I experience this in my community and my church. People who are interested and spiritually hungry, but they might not have a Christian friend or they don't know who to talk to. They might feel a bit nervous to start that conversation themselves. Um, so we love being able to put tools out there that help people to bridge that gap. And just one little digital Bible joke before we get into the nitty-gritty of what Next Steps is. Um, I know in Habakkuk they're not talking about tablets like we have tablets today. But I just love that picture that they said write it on tablets that they can run. The digital world is a place where people are these days. And we want to be there too. So that's enough about why. Why am I bringing another tool to you? What is it for? Next steps is for finding spiritually open people, so that instead of starting conversations at random, you can cast a wide net and catch people who are already interested and help them to take steps in their own time on the privacy of their little devices that everyone has in their pocket. You can turn online interest into real life connections, help people find their way in the door, and you can engage people in discipleship in a relevant and useful way. In the UK, we've really focused on this idea of hospitality in the digital world. So we've been helping churches and missional partners use the Next Steps tool to reach people who are sort of in that just out of reach category. Those people that are spiritually hungry and interested, but you might not know who they are. We want to help people, pardon me, to have an easy connection point. So yeah, we're using this Next Steps tool to help build digital welcome mats to do just that. There are a variety of different kinds of journeys that you can build with Next Steps. We've tried a lot of invitation journeys. You can also reach out to people through prayer journeys. You can use it for evangelism or for follow-up, or anything else that anywhere else your imagination might take you. But those are sort of four big ones that we've been using. Some places that we've been trialing Next Steps in the UK so far have been in personal evangelism. I'll share an example later on of an Easter journey that I created for some parents at my son's school. Churches have been trying it for things like Easter picnics to connect with people that come in through the door. For social media strategies, you put a link in your stories, your reels, to help people go from swiping through to a connection point with your church or your ministry. We've used it as a connection point off of our YouVersion plans to give people some next steps, engaging with students, aid recipients, and we've got a couple of really great pilot projects. I'll share an example from Holy Trinity Clapham's 250th birthday celebration a little bit later on as well. They've got some events that are actually continuing on today that they've been inviting to with Next Steps. So really excited about those. You see there's a little QR code on the screen that'll come up again later on, and Lucy can pop it in the chat. But there's, if you scan that, that'll take you to a place where you can see some more examples. You can click through on your own after this journey's finished. So I thought I'd give you guys a couple examples of how Next Steps has been used in the UK. This first one, like I said, Holy Trinity Clapham. We've been working with them to build a journey on Next Steps as an invitation for their 250th birthday celebrations. Holy Trinity Clapham has a great, really amazing history with William Wilberforce and others, and they are passionate about continuing that story today and really being a welcoming place for the people of Clapham. So we have some Agapé staff who go to this church. We knew they were already doing these big events for their 250th birthday, and they wanted to make it more of an evangelistic outreach. But we're sort of still looking for a connecting piece of how that might work. So we came in with Next Steps, helped them build a journey that is one part invitation and two parts evangelism. The screenshots here show you what it looks like if you send it in a WhatsApp group. It displays really nicely, so you can see what's coming. In this journey, the first thing you see is a really welcoming and warm video from the leaders of HTC. And then as you swipe to the next card, you'll see there's a menu of options. Maybe you want to actually come to the birthday celebration, come to the prayer meeting. Maybe you want to find out more about William Wilberforce and his faith journey that he was on. Or maybe you want some more resources about who Jesus is, and some time and space on your own to figure out whether you want to engage more in a faith journey. The way they used this at HTC was we created the journey together with them. We helped them brand it so it looks like it's a thing of theirs. You can see at the bottom, it's got their logo in, their name and location. And you can see on the title on the bottom what it's about. HTC is turning 250. We helped them get in all the links and resources that were important to them to share with their neighborhood. And then they got up on a Sunday morning, made a great little intro video to show what it would look like, and had people get out their phones, scan a QR code right there, and share it with people that they knew from the gym or from the school gates, anyone they would want to hand a flyer to, people in their neighborhoods. And I've got a few, I can show you what it looks like on the back end here. Got a few little stats for you, but they had over 900 people that clicked into their journey. I think probably about 200 people from their church shared it, and had 900 total that clicked their link. I know this little analytics view, you can't see the specifics probably because it's really small, but I just wanted to give you a little peek what it looks like on the backside. Sort of gives you this sort of web view that you can easily move around, change. And then it also tells you just a little bit of analytics there, how many people visited a website that they clicked on from inside this journey, etc. And this is a bit, if you go deeper into the analytics, it'll tell you how many people visited, unique visitors, total visits, how long they stayed. You can see on average with this one, people stayed in the journey for about a minute and a half, which doesn't sound like a lot, but actually that's loads in digital world, to have people stick around for that long. And you can see on the chart here, you can tell on where the big spike is, that was the Sunday morning where they shared it with everybody in church and had them pass it on straight away. And then you can see a few little peaks, but probably they sent out an email reminder in case you haven't shared it yet. You get a few little bumps. You can also see the sources of where people came in from. So we've been working on that a little bit, and I'm looking forward to getting to chat with them later this week or next week, about how we could do this just a little bit better the next time around, how we can take what we've learned from the analytics we have, and next time they want to do a journey, maybe we can tweak some things and make it even better. Let's see. I haven't just muted myself, have I? No, good. I accidentally moved my little bar with all of your lovely faces to the bottom. So just make sure that you can still hear me. Great. Okay, so one more example where I think NextSteps works really well is in personal evangelism. This feels like a bit of a cheat because it's my own example that I've used myself, but that also means that I know the ins and outs of it. So I created a NextSteps journey to share with parents at my son's school. I was invited into the school. He goes to a Church of England school. My little boy does. I was invited in to chat to the kids about why Easter matters to me as a Christian, which is a wonderful opportunity. Loved getting to sit with 90 reception children and answer their questions and chat with them about who Jesus is and why he matters to me. But I thought, like, what an opportunity that would be if I could also share that same thing with all of their parents. 90 parents aren't going to sit with me and have that talk. And this is a great example of I don't know most of those people personally. I know some of them, but I don't know who's spiritually interested and who is actually just that little bit shy. They might not even know who I am or that I'm a Christian at all. So I created this little next steps journey as a way to bring parents into that circle as well. you can see here what it looks like when I shared it in a WhatsApp chat to a friend. She was actually passing it on to some other people for me as well. Um, and in my journey, the first thing you land on is a video of me saying, "Hey, I've been at school this week chatting to your kids about Easter, so I wanted to let you in, let you know what I said to them." I know at my house, not always, I don't always hear the details of what happened at school, but just in case they have some questions or you wanted to know what they heard, this is a chance for you to get to hear that. And then I put in some resources. I did a longer video sharing what I said to the kids about Jesus, which is just like a 1 minute gospel presentation, and some Easter resources. And then I tucked in this little faith resources for grown-ups section, which is really the thing that I was hoping that people would get to. And there's a few video series, links to The Chosen, and some Bible reading plans that people can do, um, which was great. So I sent this around in our class WhatsApp group to about 90 parents. 66 people opened it, which I was surprised and pleased about that I got that much interaction. I thought that the thing people would be least likely to actually land on was the video of me sharing what I said to the kids in school. You have to click a few things in to get my whole gospel presentation video. But actually, almost 30 people watched that whole video and heard a snippet explanation of who Jesus is and what the gospel is. So that was really exciting and a good reminder to me that I often don't know what people are going to click on and be most interested in. Um, so you can see it's a much smaller sort of personal audience. But I've had some great conversations that have come out of sharing this journey. Um, the first time I did it was about a year ago. Um, I had a little girl come up to me afterwards and said that she wants to get baptized. Can she come to my church? And invited her parents to come along. I've had some good chats with them since then. And a few people who have sort of quietly come out of the woodwork, like, "Oh, hey, are you still doing that thing? Oh, hey, can I come along to your church? Um, I I heard you said this thing in the video. What did that mean?" And I've had different levels of interaction with people over it. But they kind of let me in on the secret, so I knew that they had actually watched it, which I never would have had a way to know before. Um, Great. Um, so those are just a few quick examples. I want to talk to you a little bit about the different strategy elements that um, come into putting together a next steps journey, how you can think about it. Um, there's a variety of elements that you can keep in mind. And then I would love to do a little demo. Hopefully my tech is going to work well for me and we'll be able to make the demo work. But you can just be thinking in the back of your mind if you would like to volunteer. Um, I'm going to try to do a live demo where we customize a template. So with a little bit of luck and God's grace that the tech keeps working, one lucky person on this call might get to go home with the next steps journey halfway to finished. So just be thinking in the back of your mind if you would like to be that volunteer. Otherwise, I might call on somebody like Nicole Lewis, for example. But anyway, before we get to that, just a couple strategy elements, sort of how we think about putting together a journey. So before you start building a next steps journey, it's important that you think about who your audience is, who are you trying to reach, what are the goals, what's the content you're going to use, how will you share it. That it makes some difference in sort of how you build the thing, where people are going to come across your journey. Crucially, it's important to think about how you're going to follow up. If you have a connection point where people can click to talk to you on WhatsApp or come to an event in church or whatever the case may be. If you have something where people can write in and speak with you, you want to make sure that you've got a team in place to follow up. It's embedded in a strategy. And the last piece, of course, we love looking at analytics to know what went well, what could we do better the next time. And Next Steps provide some great stuff for that. So I won't go into a ton of detail about each of these different elements. I'm really happy to share these slides afterwards for anybody who wants to dig into them more. And I'll also just mention at this point, my team with digital strategies at Agapé, this is one of the things that we're really excited about working on this year. And we would love to help any of you get started with next steps. So if you leave this call thinking, this sounds great, but I'm not sure where to start, I'll just drop in at this point. We would love to help you get started. Um, so yeah, just a little bit more about each of these things. A key question with the audience is who are you trying to reach? You want to think about um, what people's needs are, what content will be engaging to them. You might choose a different video series or a different set of images if you're reaching out to a group of youth instead of a group of seniors. Um, but there's lots of flexibility in the platform for popping those things in. And you want to think about where you'll find them. Is your audience accessible on WhatsApp? Do they only use Telegram if they're in a secure location? Um, can you find them in the Reels on Instagram or in Snapchat? Or would they rather have a flyer in their hand with a QR code? Um, any of those things are possible. Um, I'll just mention we've got a great tool that was developed by our partners in the US called the Audience Map that can help you think through different people in different stages of their spiritual journey. So let's give a quick plug for that. It's audienceMap.crew.org. Goes through people how to connect with people who are open, who are seeking, who are hostile to the gospel, and sort of all different levels of their spiritual journey. So that could be a helpful piece for how to get started with this. Um, you want to think very carefully about what your goals are with the next steps journey. You need to start with the end in mind, and then work backwards from that. Um, Example with the HTC journey, it was really important to them to make sure that people were able to sign up for the in-person events that they were doing. So we prioritized those on the top of the menu. You want to come to the in-person birthday celebration. It's one click that gets you straight to the church suite sign up, that people were able to do that. Another outcome that they had in mind was that they wanted to have people have an opportunity to explore the gospel on their own. So we built in that card later on in the journey with more resources about who Jesus is. Um, but your goals will vary depending on what you're using the journey for. You need to think about what content you might want to use. You can use videos and images, polls, links to other things. If you scan the QR code in the middle of the screen here, it'll direct you to a list of sort of our favorite resources from the Agapé DS team, digital strategies team. Lucy's going to pop it in the chat for me as well, so you can take a look at that later. That's just a small curated list of things that we've found really helpful. Some Bible reading plans on YouVersion that we curate, some video series and that sort of thing. I will mention in terms of content, Next Steps is very flexible about what you can put in. It's connected to the Jesus Films whole library of videos. So those are very easy to find, but you can add things that are on YouTube or anything that you have saved on your own device. So if you record a video of yourself, you can upload that. And you don't have to put it on YouTube first or upload it into anything else to be able to do that. A few tips for having Next Steps function effectively for you. We always want to make sure that we're using an engaging hook in the same way that if you walk up to somebody on the street, you would want to start with something that would catch their attention and start a conversation well. You want to do that with Next Steps as well. We recommend keeping videos short. Attention spans are shorter and shorter. I recently heard from an avid TikTok user that TikTok is currently prioritizing 7-second videos in their algorithm. So I'll just leave you to imagine what that means for people's attention span. But yeah, short, engaging video that helps people move through the journey is better than sort of everything all at once. I find it's really helpful to plan out or storyboard the journey first. I like to do that on paper, um, just to get an overview of where I'm headed and what I want to plug in before I start building. Um, but you can sort of do it however works for you. We recommend that they don't get too long and complicated. Depending on what you're using it for, sometimes there's a use case that requires lots of cards and lots of different options. But you can also make them very short and sweet, sort of a single introduction card with a few links, and that's just as valid. It's great to include interactive elements if that's something that works for your audience well, and to think about how much text you're putting on a card. I find it's really helpful to test them on people who haven't helped me build them, to make sure that the wording makes sense, that the buttons function, that people know where I'm headed. So, personal user tip. You want to think about your sharing methods. We talked about this already, sort of where you're going to put your QR code or your link that people can find it. And same about the follow-up. You can link to messaging platforms like WhatsApp, Telegram, Facebook Messenger, but you want to think about sort of where that fits in your strategy and how you're going to use it as it goes along. And how can your analytics improve your journey?
Okay,
Wonderful.
just before we go into the demo time,
Mhm.
now I think it's a really, really helpful resource. I think there's a couple of things. First of all, I think that if you think about a local church and you're launching Alpha or doing a family fun day, this is a great way to connect with your community in a whole new way. And rather than having a QR code just going to your website, which is kind of very kind of a dead end really in many ways, you're creating this journey for them, which is fantastic. But also thinking a citywide, so Gums on the Coin now doing stuff kind of pan London for Mission Week London. It's thinking about actually how could we use almost as a campaign across an area as well. It's fantastic too. And one thing that's really important to kind of mention here is you haven't got to create loads of content. You've got to do a small, short, welcoming video, but after that, all the content already exists. It's just working out which bits of content are best for your audience. So just to make sure it's not a massive amount of work. It's really about just curating what things might fit best on those you're engaging with. So whether you're engaging with young people or older people, it's finding out what resources will help on that journey going forwards. Any questions before we go into demo time for anybody? Does that all make sense so far? There's a lot of content there, and it's quite a big kind of concept to get your head around. But I think this could be a game changer for how we're doing community engagement. It's with the church yesterday exploring their big festival they do each year, like a big kind of family fun festival. This is a great resource thing for them to think about how they help on a journey of faith going forwards, having had a one-off conversation. Any questions before we go into detail of how you do it?
I was just
Yeah.
wondering, is there a cost associated with using this?
No, it's offered for free from the Jesus Film Project and from Agapé UK. There's a
Wow.
wonderful team of people who fundraise for it to make it possible to offer it for free. But it's free forever. There's no get to the end of the presentation and then you have to sign up for a subscription or anything like that.
Okay, thank you.
And I guess, Katie, you could make multiple versions, can you? You can make one for an Alpha course, one for a church celebration, one for Christmas, and use them at different points of the year, just create them slightly differently.
Yeah,
Any more?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can have your own team on the admin platform. I'll give you a sneak peek into mine in a minute here as part of the demo. And you can create a variety of different journeys inside one team. Anybody who has access to that team can see the analytics from those journeys. But you can also, once you have an account, you can create multiple other teams if you want to as well. If you want to create things for a different organization or for something for personal use that you might not want everybody to have access to. There's
I
a
also think it's brilliant for youth groups because actually a youth group could have a go at this themselves, create their own video, and then work out the journey for their own friends, and then share that with their own friends on social media or on WhatsApp and things. So yeah, I think it's got loads of potential for how it can be developed and used, but it's almost quite a big concept to get your head around. So no more questions. We're getting to demo time. So
Wonderful. Thank
Katie,
you,
go
Andy.
for it.
Sorry, did somebody have a question? No. Okay. Yeah. Thanks for that, Andy. I agree. It is a tricky concept to wrap your head around, which is part of the reason why I wanted to do a little demonstration and to give you guys a live example. I'm going to switch my screen over right now, and then I'm about to ask for a volunteer. So hopefully you can now all see my next steps sort of back end screen. It says Roundtable Demo Team. Can everybody see that?
Yeah, Goma has very much volunteered to do this now. So thank you, Goma, for volunteering.
Slash maybe we
Wonderful.
volunteered him. Good job, Garma.
I uh,
That's wonderful. Can we?
that's how Andy volunteers himself by volunteering others. But yeah, well, okay,
Wonderful. Well, thank you for volunteering or allowing yourself to be volunteered, Gurma.
all right.
Very glad to meet you.
Likewise.
So I have a couple of different templates. You can choose any one of these that you would like to customize for your church or your ministry. You can see the options on the screen. We could do a personal evangelism one. The World Cup one is the least well developed, so I would probably preference not doing that one today. But
Okay.
if you really want to do the World Cup one, we can. Prayer journey, a youth invitation, or an alpha invitation. Which one seems most to fit most with what you're doing with your church?
So I have in mind the mission week. So for different churches, maybe the youth invitation might be a good one.
Wonderful. Okay. So since we're doing this live and it's going to be on YouTube, I won't ask you for your personal details to put into the team. I can update that in here later for you. But you'll be able to take this journey home when it's finished, if that's any help to you.
All right.
So we'll go ahead and click into the youth invitation journey. I set this team up in advance. Hopefully it's going to load for me. If not, there we go. Okay. So I took this template and copied it into the team that is now Gurma's team. I'll rename it when we're done. So we've got the youth invitation template. The first thing we start out with is we're going to look at the very first card. Since you got volunteered on the spot, Gurma, I don't expect that you probably have your photos and links and everything already, but I'll just show you how you can do these afterwards when you go home. So you're doing a youth invitation journey. The picture that's in here is from my church. That's Gas Street in Birmingham. But maybe you want to change the image so that it looks like your church. So the thing you do, go over here to background and click on image. And then if you hit the little edit, you can choose an image from Unsplash, search by keyword. Maybe you just want something.
In my mind, I'm having the Logos Hope ship in mind to invite them to an event at the Logos Hope ship.
Great. So maybe you want an image of a ship.
That's right. Yeah.
Perfect. So you can choose one from Unsplash if you like. Select it, and it pops right into the journey for you. Or if you want to add in a custom image, you can upload something from your own computer.
Okay.
I should wind back a second. I should have asked you a few more strategy questions before we got started here. So you want to do a journey for youth. Can you tell me a little bit about your church, about the youth stuff that you guys have going on?
So let's say our church have quite a number of youth who would like to invite their friends to an event, and we chose to invite them to this Logos Up ship as an experience of learning hearing the story of the ship and what they have done throughout the world, and kind of the whole hearing from young people who are involved in doing ministry in that ship, and the stories and experiences like that. So we'll be encouraging our youth group to invite their friends to this place. Yeah.
Sure. So you have a group of youth in your church already, and you want to help them invite their friends to an event that you guys are doing with the local ship. Is that right?
Yeah.
Great. Okay. So some things that you might want to think about sort of as people receive this. Probably a lot of the kids who would get this link from their friends who are part of the youth wouldn't know much about you or your church yet. So maybe you want to introduce them a bit to you first, as well as the event that you guys are doing. You want to let them know who it is that it's coming from. Let's see if I can. If you want to have it display on the bottom to show sort of who you are.
The church or the individual?
Um, I would suggest probably doing it as a whole church one.
Yeah.
But if you want to have the youth customize it individually for themselves, they can also absolutely do that.
Oh, the church, Reality Church, London.
Wonderful. Okay, so if you when you want to customize the bottom, you click on this little bottom bit here. You can choose display title. So
Okay.
what's your event called, Grandma?
The event, it's well, the official name is Mission Week launch, but I think to relate it to evangelism, that won't be an attractive name to come to. Maybe experiencing the Logos Hope ship, or this, experiencing, the Logos Hope ship.
Great. Any of these things you can change afterwards. I know I'm really putting you on the spot, but you're doing a great job.
Okay, thank you.
So you see, like I clicked over here to change the display title. You can put in a host.
Reality Church.
Reality Church. Great. Okay. So I select that and add in Reality Church, and you guys are in London. Is that right?
Right. Yeah.
Wonderful. If you want to add in your church's logo, you can click on, hopefully you can see my cursor down here. You click the little plus, and if you choose custom, you can upload your church's logo right there, and that'll pop in here in the little face.
Okay.
Do you guys have an Instagram or anything like that you like to connect with or that you advertise this kind of events on?
Yeah, there is. I need to find out what the handle is, but yeah, we do.
Sure. Yeah, that's great. You don't need to have the link straight away, but I'll show you where you would want to put it. If you want to have it connect back to your Instagram as a next step, it'll appear down here that's sort of a permanent thing across the bottom.
Yeah. So it's Reality Church London is the handle for
wonderful
Instagram and Facebook.
Let's see. Okay, so we want to put in an Instagram link just so you have an example, instagram.com/ there we go. Okay. You can change what the symbol would look like if it was a TikTok instead, for example, or you just want to have like an email chat that people can go to. But we'll leave it on Instagram from now. If you wanted to put in a WhatsApp link instead, you could, or in addition to that, you can click this one off. That one goes away. If you put in a WhatsApp link here, you can direct it straight back. Maybe there's a youth leader who would be up for chatting with any kids that wanted to write in, for example. But we'll leave the Instagram one in for now in our example here. So you can see that's you've got your Instagram symbol back. That shows up along the bottom. So this journey was initially built for a variety of different things that a youth group is doing. So you might want to change out some of these cards. But when you have a youth who lands on this card, what is the first thing that you want to say to them? What's the first thing you want to introduce them to about reality or the event that they're coming to?
Yeah, but so sorry, can you ask me again that question?
Yeah, of course. So what are the main things that you want to offer them when they first land in the journey? You can give them an option to hear about who you are as a church, or as a youth from your church, maybe a link to the event. I'm just wondering, is there anything else that you want to make sure that they have access to right away when they first land in that journey?
Okay. Yeah, I mean, talking a little bit about the church, what the church is, kind of how the church is serving the young people in our communities, and the fun things that we do with young people in our churches, and yeah, so kind of information about the different activities that we have for young people, and maybe um, uh, pictures and a testimony of some people, like talking about a particular fun time they had together and what it meant for them, collectively or individually, being part of that particular event.
Yeah, very good. So maybe you can think about this later on, sort of what buttons you want to have on your home card. But I
Okay.
just added in a few details while you were talking. Maybe you want to change the size of the heading or the font that it's in. You can do all that over here on the right side. But you could put a nice warming message at the top. Maybe you want them to know this is how you find out more about us. So I put that in as a button. What's on for young people? This is the standard one that I had in from before, but you can change that. Maybe you want to change that button to say something like how people are experiencing reality in our neighborhood, or
Yeah.
whatever works for you.
Okay.
I wanted to show you this is how you customize a button so that it goes just where you want it to. If you click on the button itself, come over here. If you want it to navigate to a card inside the journey, I'll go back in just a second and show you how you can make sure it's linked to the right place. If you want it to link out to a different website, you can select that here, or to an email, chat, phone, etc. So this one you probably want to link to another card. You can change all sorts of things about the buttons, what size they are. Maybe you want it to be a little bit bigger or a little smaller. Maybe you want to have an icon that appears with it or not. So you can customize that depending on how you would like it to look. But the buttons are really easy to customize and change. And then if you want to see sort of where the buttons will link to, the best way to do that is to come back to this overview screen. I got there. So if I click on this card, I'm editing that specific one. If I click out back to the dashboard here, it shows me the whole overview. And you can see this is the card we were looking at. And we were editing this About Us button. So it already goes to the right place, but let's say this little string had gotten lost elsewhere. You just hover your mouse over it and hold it down, and then you drag it to connect up to the card that you want. So if you've already got a little card with sort of some things about you, about your church, you want to connect it there. If you discover the card that you're looking for isn't in here yet, it's really easy to add a new one. You just drag it and drop onto an open space. And then you've got a blank card that you can start out with. Gives you different card templates that you can start out. And it just fills in a few different things, so you can edit it to look how you would want. If you realize you have a card that you don't want anymore, it's very easy to get rid of it by just hitting delete. So I'm going to come back here. I know we're approaching the end of our time, so I just want to make sure I hit a few highlights for different ways that you can customize the journey. Garma, I think we're probably still going to have some work to do by the time we finish.
Yeah.
But I would love to chat with you some more, make sure that we get this all set for you.
Okay.
You guys could use it for the London Mission Week if you would like to. So I'm just going to show you guys a few more things that you can customize on here. One important one, you want to make sure you have a link that works well for you. If you click on, I'll go back here. So up here in the top, if you hit share, you can edit the link to anything that's not taken already.
Right.
It automatically fills in the your.nextstep.is. So it's just the backside of that. So maybe you want to change yours to Reality Church Youth, for example. So then you've got that link. You could take that and put it anywhere, and it would direct people to this journey. From that same panel, you can create a QR code that you can download. This QR code is will adjust whether you can make changes in the journey. You can change the name of the link even, and the QR code will still direct there, which is really useful. Or you can embed the journey in a website if you like. Um, it shows you what it'll display like. And there's the code that you can copy and pop in on a website. At any point while you're building your journey, if you want to see what it looks like, you can always come up here and hit this preview button. That'll pop your journey out in a new window. I think these display best on a smartphone screen. So sometimes the pictures stretch a little funny if you've got it on a laptop, but most people would be experiencing them on a smartphone. So you can see the changes that we've made in here. Welcome to Reality Church London. If you click on the About Us, it takes you to that standard page, back to the main menu. But you can see down here, it's displaying the correct name. We'll see if I got the Instagram link right. Click on the Instagram. Oh, I must have put in your name wrong. I'll make sure we get that fixed for you. But it directs out to the Instagram page. If somebody wants to share your journey from inside, they click on the share. They can share it with anybody in their contacts, or they can tell you that they've liked it. So that just helps you see, like, are all the buttons working? Did I click the right things? Are all the videos accessible? That sort of thing. Are there any features that you would like to see how to customize before we wrap up our demo, Karma?
Any pictures, did you say?
Oh, yeah, great. Yep, so if you want to customize a picture, come back to the big overview screen. You can click on whichever card you want to change, and just click in the middle of the picture. It tells you what the card properties are on the side, and you just want to change the background. You can put a video in the background if you like. It just takes a little bit longer to load sometimes, depending on people's signal. But if you want to change, put a picture in, click on image, and then that little edit button. It's even got a little AI feature built in that you can generate an image if you like, or you can do like a custom upload. Anything that you have on your computer.
Very much, Katie. This is so helpful, and I think it's such a versatile tool to use in so many different ways. Any kind of final questions just before we kind of get towards midday? But if people want to connect with you, Katie, going forward to try this out, how do they best do that?
If you scan this code, or you'll get a link in the chat from Lucy. There's a feedback form. I would love to know what you've thought about the demonstration today, what would have been helpful. But there's also a few questions in there. If you would like to get started with next steps, you could fill out some information, and we would be happy to create a team for you and put in any templates that you might want to start customizing for yourself. You can also email me. You can get me at digital@agape.org.uk.